Greetings and welcome to Bubble Hearthing. I'm Bubble and you're fantastic. Today we're going to tolerate this little flickering thing in the corner of my camera while I talk about all the red cards for Innistrad Crimson Vow, a set that's been out for a little while now and I haven't played a single bit of it, haven't watched any gameplay of it either, so I can give you my rather fresh, unbiased opinion on the cards. So, all the red cards coming at you, hopefully faster than the black review because that took over an hour and I apologize. Abrade! We're going to start off with a reprint of one of the more often played removal cards in other formats, like Modern, because it's not legal in Standard, of course. Modern, I think it even sees some play in, well, Pioneer, I don't know, maybe. Would it see any play in Legacy? Probably not, but potentially. Modern, you see this everywhere, though. It's a pretty damn good card. 2 mana, instant speed, Abrade deals 3 damage to target creature, or destroy target artifact, while I scoot in a little closer. Yep, here we go. This is all making the final cut. So, 2 mana deal 3, okay. Not bad, not great. A lot of things have 4 toughness. Enter Goldspan. Goldspan? Yeah, Goldspan, right. Gold Dragon thingy. That's how long it's been. God damn. Or destroy target artifact. So, this doesn't answer the dragon. It does answer Chariot. Okay, that's about it. There's a couple artifacts that might see some play, namely like the dollhouse thing that we have coming up later on. But I don't think there's really too many that are like must-kill things. So I don't know about that other thing other than Chariot that you're killing. And dealing 3 is okay. I can see this as a sideboard in like a red aggro deck, and I'm not even gonna lie, because you want to have some decent, efficient removal to just, I'm gonna kill your creature, and maybe I'm gonna kill the Chariot thing later on so I can deal with your 2/2s and that's it. I don't know. It's not terrible, but I feel like it's, been a long time since we had this effect, and Magic has come a long way since then. I don't think we have as many busted artifacts either. There's more artifacts than like other sets that are just absolutely insane. What's the best you can really remove with this thing nowadays? I don't know. Yeah, the Celestis sees some play in Strixhaven Stadium. So if those decks really make more of a comeback, then like you could make it happen. But the 3 damage really doesn't matter to them. You can kill a bird. Still though, guess what? Abrade has stood. It has stood the test of time, and I feel like it would be a disservice to it to rate it lowly. In Limited, this card's absolutely fine. I will give it a 3.5 out of 5. You can even just target your opponent's blood tokens and either force them to activate it when they don't really want to, or they lose it, if the damage doesn't really matter to you. And in Standard, I'll give it a 2.5. I think it's going to be okay. I don't think it's super crazy amazing, auto-include everywhere, but I think it's going to be okay. Maybe a sideboard card for like, 2 or 3 slots. Alchemist Gambit. Oh boy, and now we got to go into this one immediately. Wow. Went from okay card, reprint, to this piece of thing. Okay, so this topic of discussion. 3 mana. Sorcery. And we got the cleave thing here. So, if you do not pay the cleave cost, we will go over that momentarily. If you just look at the, pay 3 mana, take an extra turn after this one. During that turn, damage can't be prevented. At the beginning of that turn's end step, you lose the game, and exile Alchemist Gambit. So, you exile it when you on resolution. It doesn't have to be at the end of the turn, right? So, 3 mana, take an extra turn. That's what people are seeing right now. And if you want to pay 7 mana for it in a mixture of blue and red, then that is exactly what it says. 3 mana, take an extra turn, and also your opponent can't stop the damage, which I don't believe usually happens anyway. But it's just an extra little clause there because I guess that's what makes it red, is the, stopping damage negation. So, right now many people, and in the last ban-restricted announcement, people were hoping that they were going to ban Olivias Epiphany. That was like at the top of the charts there. And the big thing came in and like, okay, ban restricted standard, no changes. And I agree with them. Honestly, I don't think that Olivias Epiphany is so crazy. It does have the advantage of not being able to be interacted with once you foretell it. You can't, make your opponent discard or anything. And then when you play it, it feels bad to lose against, and to play against, honestly. Unless you have a counterspell, which means you have to be playing blue or black, or you just have to race them. But that's kind of how control decks usually work. Like, I don't hate that at all. And the big part with Olivias Epiphany is that it makes birds. Honestly, that's the biggest thing, is it puts creatures on the board as well as taking turns. So it kind of generates its own tempo/stability versus 7 mana draw a card. No one's upset with that. Like, no one thinks that's busted. So, anywho, we have another card draw, another extra turn thing. And is this insane to take more turns? Well, someone's going to make the meme deck. I think there's probably a few of them out there already, where you put 4 of this and 4 Epiphany and just go nuts. I guess, I mean, stacking doesn't really help you too much if you just play it for 3 because, you know, you have the lose triggers there as well. If you try to put the Hullbreaker Kraken, you can potentially... Is the Kraken or is it... No, it's the zombie exploit, like the Flash Flyer, the 4-mana 3/3 Flash Flyer zombie, I forget what it's called. But if you put that in there, I believe you can counter the activated ability or the triggered ability of this. Which is a lot of mana to invest in to take another turn, but it might be worth it because the card's already blue? Oh, God. Anyway, talking about this card, there was a version of this, which was instant speed, essentially, in one of the Amonkhet sets, I believe. It's someone like falling into a spike trap or something. I forget exactly what it's called. But basically it was instant speed and the turn. Or end your opponent's turn, whatever. And then at the beginning of the next end step or something along those lines, you lose the game. So you would use it during your opponent's turn to just kill their whole turn, and then you get an extra turn, essentially. But it was just red. And that saw no play as far as I'm concerned. It didn't see any top play at all in that standard where it was legal. So this is that at sorcery speed, or you can pay 7 mana, take another turn. Guys, I think this card's okay. I'm not gonna lie. In limited, I will put this at a 3 out of 5, play one of them, and good luck. Like, I honestly wish you all the best. Yeah, there's a good chance your opponent will just not know what to do. And you only play this if you're gonna win, right? Like, you go ahead, go into combat, do your thing. You don't always know if you're going to win, but you can have a pretty damn good sense. If it's just an open board, then sure, but make sure you can overkill your opponent, or they have nothing in their hand, or yeah, like some knowledge of it, because this is going to feel really bad. We're like, okay, attack you, sure. Alchemist Gambit, attack you again for exact. Actually, I'm going to gain 1 life, because I can right now. Oh. So I lose the game because you gained 1 life, whereas I could have just waited and probably won the game. Yeah, but you were impatient. Right. So, make sure you know what the hell you're doing, basically. In Standard, this is going to see some play. This is an aggressive card, though. I don't see this often seeing play. Maybe you put it in like an aggro Is It deck, where you could potentially use the Cleave, because I don't like this for just the regular cost. But you might often still play it for the 3 mana. Yeah, Is It aggro is where this goes, where it's unlikely, but you might get to 7 mana and then play this for a free turn. And Is It aggro isn't fantastic right now. So 2.5 out of 5. Extra turns are strong. This is going to see some play in some decks, but they might be like tier 2, maybe even tier 2.5 decks. I don't think they're going to be tier 1. Okay, enough of that one. Alluring Suitor, 3 mana, 2/3. When you attack with exactly 2 creatures, transform Alluring Suitor. Transform Alluring Suitor. Worth noting, this does not have to be one of the 2 creatures. You can attack with 2 on the side, and that could be Alluring Matchmaker, I guess. But this can also be one of the 2. Okay? And that will become Deadly Dancer, which is a 3/3 trample. When this creature transforms into Deadly Dancer, add 2 red to your pool. Until the end of the turn, you don't lose mana. You don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. And then you can pay 2, and it and another target creature each get +1/+0 to another turn. So if you actually attack with this, it flips over immediately, and you can invest that mana into its ability right off the bat. Give them both a little buff. It has trample. It's nice. It's a kind of cool card, and I like the whole idea too. It's just really nice and flavorful. It's like, oh, hello, and then bam! Immediately goes in for the dip. That's how you get them, guys. That's how you get them. Dip. Some people say sweep the leg. I say go for the dip. Anyway. Anyway. Where are those roses, though? They just throw them to the ground? Or is she holding them in her hand there? That looks like a glove hand, though. Like, it looks like it's just empty. Yeah, fun little card, honestly. Like, 2.5 maybe in limited. It's cool. Standard is not worth a damn thing. But still, I like the design. I think it's pretty cool. Yeah, 2.5 out of 5. I'll play it. I'll have a good time. If you do not attack with this, and it flips over, then you still get the 2 red mana to play until the end of your turn, which is worth something there. You maybe sneak other creature in there. Maybe you attack first, and then you play something afterwards that costs more. Alright, Ancestral Anger is a 1 mana... Oh, real quick thought here. You play something turn 1, play something turn 2. Play this turn 3, attack with the 2 things. Flip it over, and play a 2-drop on turn 3. Okay, Ancestral Anger costs a single red. Yes, if you've watched any of my other videos, you will know what I'm about to say. Feel free to skip ahead to, I'm not going to put a timestamp in there because I don't really edit these videos. But, anything that only costs 1, especially if it costs 0 mana, do not dismiss it. Do not be fast to dismiss it. Do not be quick to judge. If it does anything marginally acceptable, it's probably a very good card. A single red, target creature gains trample and gets +X+0 till end of turn, where X is 1 plus the number of cards named Ancestral Anger in your graveyard. I believe it does not count itself while it's on the stack. It doesn't, yeah. So that's why it says 1 plus. That doesn't want to just do nothing. And also you draw a card. If it wasn't for that draw a card thing, I'd say it's a fun little thing, but doesn't really do a whole lot. Drawing a card for 1 mana in red, plus buffing your things and giving it trample, is an amazing effect. It's something that's going to blow out so many people. It's going to be a sneaky little combat thing. I thought I had him, and then he got trample and killed me. And if you don't even do that, it's still very nice just to draw a card. It's not instant speed. You can't just play it during your opponent's turn and be like, well, I had 1 mana here, I'll do it later on, I got nothing else to do. But you know what? It's fine. It's great. I love it. It will almost definitely see play in older formats where you just want to cantrip for days until you find whatever you want. Meanwhile, you're buffing your creatures and give them trample. You can put on different creatures if you get multiples, you know. Obviously, this only buffs 1 creature at a time. Really great card. Honestly, even though it doesn't do, doesn't do a whole lot as it's a buff and draw a card, it's still fantastic. Okay. Numbers-wise, honestly, in Limited, you don't have to put this in a deck. I wouldn't run red just to play this, but if you're running red, I would include this every time. So 5 out of 5 in any red deck. I'm not even kidding. Like, is it a bomb? No, but it's just the value is there, and I feel like that's fine. Maybe I should say, you know what? Fine, I want to. I'll say 4.5 out of 5. It's not a bomb. It's not going to win you the game, but it's an auto include in any red deck. And somewhat similarly in Standard, like if you're playing any sort of aggressive red or even like something that just wants to go through the deck a little faster, if drawing cards is valuable to you, yeah, this card's great. I'm going to put this in my Delver deck that, just can value off this. Yeah, 5 out of 5 in Standard. Easily. Other formats, probably going to be 5 out of 5 there too. Like Legacy, I could see it season play. Probably not Vintage. I think that's going a little too far. But Legacy play, absolutely. And I can say that because I regularly watch Bosch and Roll channel. Bosch and Roll channel? Damn. Bosch and Roll. The channel Bosch and Roll. Brian Koval. So, Ballista. I was almost going to say Basilica. Ballista Watcher is a 4-mana, 4/3 human soldier werewolf. Hey, we got a werewolf here. Cool. A lot of werewolves are in red and green, so cards that referenced wolves and werewolves in the other colors that I ever reviewed kind of fell flat on me because I kind of forgot, didn't recall all of them, but here they are. 3 mana, and you can tap this to deal 1 damage to any target, and it is daybound, so you don't really want to, spend 3 mana and tap your 4/3 to ping something. I guess his name's Tim. But when you flip it over, you could just pay 3 mana, and it deals 1 damage to any target, and a creature dealt damage this way can't block this turn. This is fantastic. Oh, and it's a 5/5, by the way. This card is absolutely insane. Limited, this can win you the game. 5 out of 5 limited. Yes, I'm going there. You can use this effect multiple times if you have more mana. If you have 6 mana, deal 2 damage to things. They both can't block. Either you kill an X2, cool, or 2 things can't block, and you have a 5/5. 4 mana 5/5, that pings things is great. That's basically what you're banking on here, and you're probably going to get there. Also, I love that it turns from, like, I'm going to do this and have, like, a big encampment thing I got to do, to just, this is now my gun. Hello, sidearm. So, yeah, this card's fantastic, and I wouldn't be surprised in Standard if this actually saw play as well. This is likely a 3.5, maybe in 4 out of 5 in Standard. And again, you see the rating right there at the bottom of the card. Limited, 5 out of 5. And, I'm just trying to point this where it looks like the vampire's biting me. I don't know. Something like that. Ouch. Okay, sorry. I'm trying to do a bit and trying not to reference, like, one of the earlier videos. One of the earliest memes. So, Belligerent Guest is a 3-mana 3/2 with trample and is a vampire. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, create a blood token. Okay. Probably going to get a blood token or 2 off of it. I wish it just said create blood tokens equal to the damage you dealt, but I think that's a card later on. I believe that's like Olivias bridesmaids, essentially. But, yeah, maybe that'd be a little too powerful. It's okay. It's alright. I'd say a 2 out of 5, maybe 2.5 if blood tokens matter. Sorry, my nose is a little itchy, and I just keep, like, rubbing it. There we go. I think we're good. Okay. So, yeah, maybe a 2.5 out of 5 if you have any synergy. By the way, blood tokens, over there. Not too bad. I think they're worth about a third of a mana and about a third of a card. I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's all, like, worth so much, which is fine. They should just be incidental tokens that add marginal value to things here and there. That's their design. Okay, Blood Hypnotist. Oh, did I already say? Yeah, 2.5 out of 5 if you have synergy, 2 out of 5 if not, and standard is not worth a damn thing. Alright, Blood Hypnotist. Here we go again. 3 mana, 3/3, cannot block, but it's a vampire. Whenever you sacrifice one or more blood tokens, target creature can't block this turn. Only triggers once a turn. So you can't, have 3 mana and 3 tokens, sack them all, and then say, you can't block, you can't block, you can't block. No. Just one. You pick your opponent's, best block, and you say, you're not making that this turn, and that's okay. Doesn't have any way to make blood tokens, and it doesn't block at all, so you kind of just want to be attacking with this all the time anyway. It's a good way to, use up your blood tokens if you don't really want to just sack them to, discard and draw, because if that doesn't really have a lot of value for you. It's alright. Worst case, 3 mana, 3/3. That can't block, though. So, 2 out of 5. Limited. I don't think it's fantastic. Maybe 2.5 again if you have the synergy there. Standard, geez, it's okay. But I think there are other cards. Doesn't, like, the Hull Monitor Lizard thing make things unblockable, more or less, or things can't block? So, I'd rather run that. Even if I'm wrong about the effect, I shall rather run that, whatever the hell the effect is. So, that tells you that. Yeah, don't like it. Blood Petal Celebrant. It's a 2 mana 2/1. I guess is this like the Flower Girl or something? No, maybe. Vampire. It has first strike as long as it's attacking, and when it dies, make a blood token. Okay. Super simple, super reasonable. Oh, there we go again with the nose. Super reasonable, just limited card. It's fine. Maybe 2 out of 5. I'm going to say it again. Blood token stuff, 2.5. And standard, 1 out of 5, just because, 2 mana 2/1 first strike isn't bad. Leave something behind when it dies. Okay. I can kind of get behind it, but not so much. Bloody Betrayal is a 3 mana sorcery, and you get control of something. It's your active treason effect, which I believe is actually a, copy of some other effects further down the line. Oh, that's older in Magic, but it's alright. You get a control of a creature, untap it. You also get a blood token, and this is in a format with exploit. So, in a set with exploit, hell with format. So there is definitely added value to be had from this. So in limited, yeah, I would definitely, see some play with this. I'd say 3 out of 5 there. Standard, you can probably make it work. Maybe not. Play it more as a sideboard card if your opponent has like big creatures or some kind of mid-range thing. And you're running an exploit deck already. So I would say 3 out of 5 both ways there, Although it's not Claim the Firstborn. Doesn't cost 1 mana. 1 mana things are fantastic. It costs the full 3. So, trying to do that with 3 and then exploit. I'll drop it down to a 2 out of 5 standard because I realize this costs more than 1. But, it's alright. Cemetery Gatekeeper. Oh, this is a card. Okay. This is a card indeed. 2 mana, 2/1 first strike. It just has it all the time. Not some of the time, all the time. When it enters the battlefield, exile a card from a graveyard. Whenever a player plays a land or casts a spell, if it shares a card type with the exiled card, Cemetery Gatekeeper deals 2 damage to that player. And I think the most you're going to possibly hit is like Artifact Creature, where if they play an artifact or a creature, then it takes 2 damage. People have compared this to, whichever the, Eidolon, something, it's not Flame Celebrant, Eidolon of the Great Rebel, or something along the lines. Just, there's a card in, is it Modern? There's a burn card that has a kind of a similar effect there. So, where are we here? Would we play a 2 mana 2/1 first strike that exiles a card? Yeah, I think we probably would. It might be more of a sideboard card against graveyard decks, but it's certainly fine for an aggressive deck. There's nothing wrong with this. And how often are you going to be able to play this on turn 2 and be able to exile anything? Is there often something in the graveyard on turn 2? Not really. Be able to exile something and then have it matter. This is trying to find its way into some sort of a burn deck in Standard, and I don't believe... As far as standard applications go, I don't know. because it needs the target to be in the graveyard already. If it's in your graveyard or running some of those things, so you're going to hit yourself sometimes. If it's in your opponent's graveyard, then I guess you're pretty good off there, but they're probably doing some kind of a Delver really quick. They're also playing an aggressive deck, and you want to play like creatures, and then you also probably end up hitting yourself, unless most of your damage is in the form of like instant or sorcery burn stuff, you know, non-creature damage. I'm going to say that in Standard, maybe as a sideboard card. In older formats, in particular, older formats with fetch lands, where there's a decent chance your opponent's going to put a land in the graveyard, turn 1 or 2. Then maybe it sees some play. But I don't know that it always does there, even. I think the mythic tag here is unwarranted. But it fits in the cycle of cemetery whatever that has a mythic thing on it, so hey. In limited, it's okay. It's not bad at all. 2 mana, 2/1 first strike is perfectly fine. I'd say like probably 3 out of 5 there. If it happens to ping your opponent a few times, cool. If not, you know. In Standard, jeez. In Standard in particular, in that format, I will give it a 1.5 out of 5. Just because it's still a decent aggressive card, but it's still not great. In other formats, probably a little more value there, 2 to 2.5, but I'm still not too high on it. Still not too keen on playing this guy. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Chandra, dressed to something. Dressed to Kill is a 3-mana Planeswalker that comes out with 3 loyalty. Her +1 ability, or her first +1 ability, is add red to your pool, and she deals 1 damage to up to 1 target player or Planeswalker. Not too bad. Her second +1 ability is exile the top card of your library. If it's red, you may cast it this turn. Very important, it says cast, so if you exile a land, also lands are colorless, so it wouldn't even be red, but if you exile a land, you cannot play it for 2 reasons. And the -7, the ultimate, exile the top 5 cards of your library. You may cast red spells from among them this turn. Seems like you might still have to pay the mana cost though. Let's see. You get an emblem with whenever you cast a red spell, this emblem deals X damage to any target, where X is the amount of mana spent to cast that spell. So yes, it does actually feed into, like, you have to pay mana, but it gives you a benefit off that. Let's see, whenever you cast a red spell, this emblem... Okay, it doesn't have to specifically be the 5 cards that you exiled as well. So that's good. Emblem is great. It basically doubles, triples on your damage. And it's just spells, so you can just play creatures, and they still, like, ETB, basically punch your opponent in the face. Yeah. That's the legit ultimate that will win you the game at some point. Like, that's not to be ignored. The +1 nearly makes her cost 2 mana. Also, she only costs 3? Like, that's good. I would probably be okay with paying close to 4 mana for this. Like, I'd probably be okay with 4 mana on this thing. I think she is amazing. I believe that this is 5 out of 5 limited. Hopefully you're playing enough Rick cards to make it worth it. Even if you don't, like, just +1. She's probably hard to kill coming down turn 3 and then going immediately to 4 loyalty. She's going to stick around for a turn or 2, I think. And just, you know, dealing some damage to your opponent. They probably don't have Planeswalkers in limited, but they might. And this could be what you need to get them there. Also, it just gives you mana. Now, if you were going second, you're basically at parity with your opponent. And if you're going first, then you're super far ahead. Like, you're good. You're good, you're good. In Standard, this card's also pretty damn good because it costs 3. You can +1 immediately and play a 1-drop, so it nearly costs 2. If you're super low to the ground, you could probably make some value off the +1 there as well. The -7's going to happen. She's fantastic. I just don't like the way they designed her face in this one, or they, you know, did the face, but if you see the alternate artwork where you see, like, this actual nice gown, oh my god, she's gorgeous. Yeah. 5 out of 5 both ways, and I do not want to be proven wrong. We'll see how we do. Change of Fortune is not Wheel of Fortune. A 4-mana sorcery. Discard your hand, then draw a card for each card you discarded this turn. So the attempt at extra value here, if you just play it on its own, discard your hand and draw that many cards. Okay. Not great because you got to play this, so it's basically a -1. But if you have any blood tokens, that's a good way to... Blood tokens basically work on, like, even. You discard, you get a card, so it's neutral there. But then, say you sacrifice 1 blood token, and then you play this, you discard a card and draw 1 more. A few more blood tokens, do 2. If you manage to play multiples of this in the same turn, then you draw so many cards, if you had any decent number of cards in your hand. And on 4 mana, maybe, you hold up, you keep a few. It's going to be tough to keep the cards in your hand, though, so you're probably going to want to do something along the lines of... I was going to say Ironcrag Feat, but not only is that not in Standard, since it was in Eldraine, but also, you only let you play one more thing. Maybe some kind of Pyretic Ritual in older formats. This will almost certainly see play in another format, actually. I see you in Legacy. Not even gonna, joking, this is actually fine. You can ramp out of frickin' nowhere, and multiples of this just go off like crazy. Yeah, and then if you could do any kind of nonsense, give things flashback, potentially even, I think it might be a little expensive for Vintage, but, Yogg will play this a bunch of times, too. Yeah. Guess what? Cards are broken with Yawgmoth's Will. Who knew? Maybe even Gaia's Will, if you want to put this in some kind of weird green, kind of Jundy thing, and Red and 6 can go in there, and, oh, jeez. Just because Red and 6 goes in Jund. Oh, wow. As far as limited goes, I wouldn't bother. It makes you discard your entire hand, so I would not play this, honestly. I wouldn't. I would not feel bad about passing this to my opponent or just not putting it in my deck for the final cut. Maybe 1.5 out of 5 limited. Standard, I'm going to give it a similar 1.5. I don't think it's great. But in older formats, in limited, in Legacy, maybe Vintage. I don't watch too much Vintage, and the power level there is obviously as high as it can possibly be. This is probably going to see you play. I'll say 3 out of 5. There might be some nonsense deck, and maybe make it 4 out of 5 there. Creepy Puppeteer is a 4-mana 4/3 with haste. And it's a rogue, by the way. That's kind of neat. Whenever a Creepy Puppeteer attacks, if you attacked with exactly one other creature this combat, you may have that creature's base power and toughness become 4/3 until end of turn. This card's fantastic. In Limited, this is 3.5, maybe even 4 out of 5. If you have any sort of training or plus some counters, which is a big thing in white, then there's a very good chance that, base power becomes 4/3. It's going to be a 5/4 or a 6/5. It's really, really nice. A lot of aggro here, a lot of power coming in, and it just buffs your other little dudes there too. Awesome card there. In Standard, could actually see play. Not even kidding. Could get there. 2.5, maybe even 3 out of 5 in Standard. This is not a joke. Do not ignore this card. It's worth something. Curse of Hospitality is a 3-mana curse. Of course, enchant player. Creatures attacking enchanted player have trample. There's a lot of words past that, so I'm just going to talk about the first part there. Definitely something to keep an eye on. Chump blocking is a huge part of this game, just as a whole. Not even necessarily talking about this current Standard and meta game and whatnot. Chump blocking is a huge thing, and this removes that entirely for 3 mana on that player. Also a hilarious thing to do in multiplayer games. If you're playing Commander or whatever, and you're playing against 4 people, hey, I'm gonna curse you. Just saying, everybody might want to hit the guy, give all your creatures trample, Yeah. So I would probably say for 3 mana, that's almost worth it. What else does this say? A lot. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to an enchanted player, that player exiles the top card of their library. Okay, I see you. Until end of turn, that creature's controller may play the card, and they may spend mana as though any color of mana to cast the spell. Okay. Yeah, no, that's super legit. Let's see, whenever a creature... So it can trigger multiple times, of course. Because if you have more things attacking, then it works. Yeah, this is good. This is not a bad card. In Limited, this is actually very, very nice. Of course, you have to back it up with creatures. It doesn't win the game on its own, because you need other things to work with it. 5 out of 5 is this card wins the game. You play it, you stabilize the board, right? This does not do that. You play this on nothing, and you have done nothing. But 3.5, even 4 out of 5, yeah. The value here is very, very good. Very, very high. The spot you put your opponent in is fantastic for you. Terrible for them. And you can also play lands off that, because it says play and not cast. In Standard, I wouldn't be surprised if there's just a 1 or 2 of in a legitimate aggressive deck. This is as close as you're going to get to some really pretty good red card draw, as far as I know. I mean, okay, I don't want to say as close as you can get. This is a very good example of how red discard draw. So, because Experimental Frenzy is a card, so who the hell am I talking about? Is it Standard legal? No, but this is not that card. Yeah. absolutely 4 to 5 on standard, and like 3.5, 4 to 5 in limited if you have enough aggressive creatures. Daybreak Combatants is a 3-mana 2/2 human hasty warrior. When Daybreak Combatants enters the battlefield, target creature gets +2/+0 till end of turn. Okay, solid little creature there, nothing crazy about it. I guess I like the haste. You kind of want to play this as early as you can and then just get the damage through there, probably not later on. So I'd say like a 2 out of 5 in limited. Just a 3-mana 2/2 with haste is okay, it's not great. You buff something for a minute, but then it goes away again. Meh. Standard is useless. Dominating Vampire. I mean, I'm not here to king shame, you do you. So, 3-mana 3/3. When Dominating Vampire enters the battlefield, gain control of target creature with mana value less than or equal to the number of vampires you control until end of turn. Untap it against haste. Okay, so Act of Treason, but it's tied to, or rather, Claim the Firstborn, because the 3-mana 3/3 vampire is fine. It's not bad. It's fairly vanilla, right? And let's see, mana value less than or equal to the number of vampires. So in limited, it's going to be hard to make this do too much, but it's certainly a fine card as it is. So I'll put it at like a. If you manage to get like a decent creature of your opponent's card, it's like a 3 out of 5 there. Otherwise, I give it 2.5. Still, just having the ability and being a relevant tribe is worth something. Is worth more than nothing. In standard, would you play this? I think I could just play this in a solid vampire deck and not feel bad. Your opponent's probably playing creatures. You can take control of literally any token creature. Yeah, and if you have that with exploit, you don't even need to have it with exploit because you're just being aggressive. Yeah, not bad at all. Probably 3 out of 5, or maybe 2.5 out of 5 in standard, and 3 out of 5 limited. End the festivities. Oh, but you're so fluffy. A 1-mana, you know what I said, sorcery. End the festivities deals 1 damage to each opponent and each creature and planeswalker they control. So basically just a buffed up Blazing Volley, which is a very similar thing, but I don't think it damages planeswalkers. I think it only does damage to creatures, but I could be wrong. It's okay. It's alright. Don't hate it. You can play this with Pestilent Spirit from the past and use it as a board wipe for your opponent's creatures, which is a very valid thing. It gives instants to sorceries you control Death Touch, which is a very strange ability, but it works. Yeah. I would give this a 1 out of 5 in limited. I don't think the extra 1 damage is doing a whole lot. There aren't a whole cards, like, if this was back in Ravnica, like Ravnica Allegiance and stuff, where Spectacle was a thing, then I would definitely add more value to this card. But Spectacle is not a thing right now, so yeah. In standard, probably not going to see any play there. Maybe like a 1 of against aggro if a whole lot of X1s happen to be a thing, but I think this keeps that in check, so they probably won't become a deck just because of this card. Yeah. Unfortunately, I know what I said about these things, but I don't think it's going all that far. Falconwrath Celebrants. Maybe in older formats, maybe. I'm not going to go so far as to say Legacy and Vintage. Hell no. Maybe Modern sees a little bit of play with this with some kind of weird combo, but even then, I'm not too high on the card. Alright, Celebrants is a 5-mana 4/4 with Menace, and it's a vampire. And when it enters the battlefield, make 2 blood tokens. Would I play a 5-mana 4/4 Menace in limited? Absolutely, I would. Be okay. I might cut it at some point, but it's still fine. And it gives you 2 blood tokens? Cool. Yeah, 3 out of 5, 3.5 out of 5 with synergies. And in standard, no. Fearful Villager. Ooh, look, you got a flip side to you. We have a beverage here. Hold on 1 second. Taste blue. So, 3-mana 2/3 Human Werewolf with Menace and Daybound. Okay, so just 3-mana 2/3 Menace. Eventually probably comes a 4/3 of Menace. Nothing wrong with this card. Super reasonable, super solid, decent rate there. Yeah, just good. 3 out of 5. Fine. Maybe even, no, I'm going to say 3 out of 5. That's it. I'm going to leave it there. In standard, no, this gets outclassed by many other cards that exist. I don't really play werewolves too much, but I played against them, and I know that if this came down on turn 3, I wouldn't be too scared, but there are other things that I'm much more concerned of. So no. Flame Blessed Bolt is a 1-mana instant. Deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If that creature or thing, if it would die this turn, exile instead. Very, very fine card. In limited, this is not bad at all. 1 mana, deal 2 instant speed is completely reasonable. So I'd say I would say 2.5 out of 5. In Standard, there is, I forget what the darn card is, but there's the one red instant where it deals 2 damage, but if you hit your opponent in the face, it deals 2 to anything, worth noting. But if you hit your opponent in the face with it, then you get to scry 2. I think that card, I think that older card that was in the other set, kind of outclasses this one on most accounts. Maybe they don't exactly belong to the same deck, maybe it's okay, because this obviously wants to target creatures. So this has that added utility, and if, you know, bringing back little guys does become a huge thing, then I could see this seeing more play. But the fact this thing can't go face, I'll give it a 2 out of 5, just because I think the other card is like a 3 out of 5, comparatively speaking. If the other card didn't exist, which I wish I think it's like Scrying Flames or something, I don't know. It's like a little demon devil sort of creature surrounded by little like fiery knives. If that one did not exist in Standard, then I would bump this up to the 3 out of 5. But because the other one's already there, then it takes the cake. Frenzied Devils is a 5-mana 3/3 hasty devil. And whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. I guess maybe you don't always want to play it on turn 5 then? Turn 5, play this, play 4... Goddamn. Play 4 Tormod's Crypts, give this +8/+8, and it has haste already. That's the dream. That's never going to happen. But no, it will at some point, and it'll be hilarious. And you got 5 turns to get there, too. In Limited, this is perfectly fine. You can also just do non-creature spells like instant speed things. Buff this, by the way. That's a fine card. Just don't always count on attacking the turn you play it. So for that, 3.5 out of 5, just there it is. In Standard, I'll give it a 1. It might be like a 1 or 2 of, but you should not build a deck around getting a bunch of these out and try and just use that like self-growing ability to go out of control, because I'm sorry, I don't think it's going to get there. You're putting a lot of eggs into one 3/3 size basket. Honeymoon Hearse. Oh, there's your artifact. Okay. So a 3-mana 5/5 vehicle with trample. Trample's nice. And there's no crew cost, but the crew cost, the crew cost there is tap 2 untapped creatures you control. And then this becomes an artifact creature. So it's like crew is 2 creatures, essentially, as opposed to being tied to power and toughness, because, it's the honeymoon, so you gotta have the 2 things, whatever it is, this is the ship vehicle. I'm upset this actually isn't like some sort of aquatic thing, because this is the fanfic author's dream. Like, I'm gonna put you and you in the honeymoon hearse and shipped immediately. But in all seriousness, not a bad card at all. 3 mana, like, for some reason I thought I had haste because I just got off reading this card. But yeah, 3 mana thing that just can make 2 random little dirtlers into a 5/5 trample is very relevant. I'd say even in, even in Standard, this could see a little bit of play. It's no Chariot, don't get me wrong. It doesn't suddenly, like, spawn more things and kind of go nuts there. It isn't something that you have to deal with immediately, or it will overrun the game. But it's okay. This could actually see some play in Standard, I'd say, because a 5/5 trample is a hell of a power spike. Imagine you're playing mono red and you go, okay, little 1/1 dude, little 2/2, 2/1 dude, okay, sure, you curve out, and then you play this turn 3, turn 4, take your 2, like your 1/1 and your 2/1, and you make it a 5/5. You just got yourself an extra 2 power, and by the way, it has trample. Yeah, that's real. Standard 2.5? Standard 3 out of 5 in mono red aggro. Yeah. Not werewolves, doesn't flip over, it's not that good. But 3 out of 5, specifically in mono red. Limited, 3.5 out of 5. You're not upset to see this card. Hungry Ridgewolf. 2 mana, 2/2. As long as you control another wolf or werewolf, it gets +1/+0 in trample. So the dream is you have another wolf or werewolf there, and it's a 2 mana, 3/2 trample. It's alright. I'm just going to give it a 2 out of 5. I don't know. I don't like it too much. In Limited. Standard, nope. Ill-tempered Loner. Oh, this guy. I like how the spikes are just glowing red. Either they're glowing red or they're actually just flames coming out of there, as well as the wolf's eyes. Just actual beams of fire. Okay. Or lasers. Hey, I mean, we're going to, like, Neo Kamigawa later on, so. Neon Kamigawa. Okay. Sorry. So 4 mana, 3/3. Whenever ill-tempered loner is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any target. Well, that's a hell of an ability. Or just a thing to have, yeah. And then for 2 mana, it gets +2/+0 till end of turn. But guess what? It gets better, because it's a werewolf, right? The better side, which I'm also going to say is just, spurting flames out here and there, is a 4/4, and same effect where when it gets dealt damage, it deals it to something. And you can, actually, it's the same thing, isn't it? Any target? No, hold on, there we go. Whenever a permanent you control is dealt damage, which is any creature, any planeswalker you control, and for some reason, if they have some weird ability to deal damage to non-creature or planeswalker permanents, then by God, they'll take the damage too. This deals that damage to any target. So if you manage to flip it over, which you probably will, goddamn, good luck being on the receiving end of this thing and getting, like, just calculate how much value you're going to lose, okay? If you have this card, it is insane value. It is definitely, even though it doesn't necessarily run away with the game, which it kind of sort of does, 5 out of 5 limited. Take this every single time. If you're not running red, guess what? You're running red now. I don't care. This card is amazing. This card is something you can almost certainly work with and is probably worth building your deck around. Wow. Goddamn. It is instant value when it comes out. Sure, your opponent can murder it. Okay, dies to removal. Next. But legit, it's fantastic. And I will not be surprised at all if this sees play in standard. Standard 4 out of 5. Limited 5 out of 5. Yeah. I'm going pretty hard on that card, and I like it. Into the Night. It becomes night. There. 4 mana sorcery, makes it nighttime. Discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards +1. So a nice little thing there. The fact that it triggers the day-night cycle is kind of cool, I guess, and it makes it night, which is as opposed to most things that say day-bound, when it starts it on day, so, yeah. It's kind of neat. I'm going to look forward to the point where I guess you're playing Jeskai, and you play Teferi Time Reveler, and you +1, so you can play this at instant speed, and then, like, during combat, like, I'm attacking my creatures, okay, transform them instant speed, it's nighttime now, and you get fucked. Right, so that's the thing. Buff all my dudes, basically. Is it the best use of 3 mana, or 4 mana? No! But it's funny. So, and the ability to discard a few things and draw, pretty legitimate thing there. Oftentimes, the making it night effect isn't going to be all that, important to you. You might not have any werewolves, your opponent might not have any, and then it's completely useless, but hey, it's not so bad. I will give it a 2 out of 5 in Limited, and a 0 out of 5 in Standard. Because werewolves wouldn't play this card, Izzet wouldn't play this card, we would play other cards. And we still have Valakut Awakening, right? Or Valakut, not Awakening, goddamn, but the flip Valakut, no, there's the Molten Pinnacle, Valakut Stoneforge, I forget exactly what it is, but it lets you, basically shuffle cards back into your library and draw cards. And it's a land as well, on the other side. So, I think that card just kind of, takes that by a long shot. Kessig Flame Breather is a 2 mana 1/3 shaman. Hey, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this deals 1 damage to each opponent. Just a little pinger here and there, and you catch, whatever. Oh, I'm gonna play this thing, and then you take a damage and take a damage here and there. It's a human if you have any sort of human synergies at all. But otherwise, it's just alright. It's like a 1.5 out of 5 there. 2 mana 1/3 isn't really where you want to be there. And Standard is useless. Kessig Wolf Rider, however, is a 1 mana 1/2 with Menace. It's a human knight. It's super fine. You play this on turn 1. This is going to be inserted in pretty much every mono red aggro. 3 and pay 3 mana and tap it. Exile 3 cards from your graveyard. Make a 3/2 wolf token. You can play this at instant speed if you want to. I mean, it means you can't attack, but why the hell not? When your attacks becomes kind of useless, when your opponent can block this somewhat effectively, which, I mean, it has Menace, so it's kind of difficult to do, then you can just start spamming wolves. And hopefully you have a bunch of little, nonsense things. I mean, hey, play this after a board wipe, and if it survives a turn, you make a 3/2, and you make a 3/2, and then you make a 3/2. This card's legit. In Limited, this card's a 4 out of 5. Easy. Early game, it's good. Later in the game, it's good. There you go. Passes the test. Standard, 5 out of 5. Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic card. Cheap, not huge stats. Fantastic for what it does. Lacerate flesh. Look at this. I actually, you know what? I like the artwork here too. It looks like just paint splattering along things. It doesn't really look like blood at all. It looks like, yeah, it looks kind of neat. So, for 5 mana, you get a sorcery. It deals 4 damage to target creature. Create a number of blood tokens equal to the amount of excess damage dealt to that creature this way. Interesting effect there. So basically, this thing has trample into blood tokens. It's kind of weird. It puts you in this weird mind state where, well, do I want to deal 4 to this thing that has 4 toughness and then just kill it, but I don't get blood tokens? Or do I want to kill this, you know, thing that only has 2 toughness and then make 2 blood tokens? You usually want to just kill the X4, you know, that's my experience and things. Let's see here. Very, very important here, is that if you decide to do this as a follow-up to damage that's already been dealt to a creature, say your opponent has that, you know, 4/4 creature, and you swing in with a few things, your opponent blocks your 1/1 with their 4/4, and then you play Lacerate Flesh. You will get 1 blood token afterwards, because it is excess damage. You only need to assign 3 damage, or you only need to deal 3 damage to that creature to kill it. That's similar to how, like, Trample works too and stuff. It's kind of neat. So, that's fun to say. But beyond that, it's okay. It's fine red removal. If you're running mono red, I would play this every single time, maybe even 2 of them. I wouldn't be too upset. Yeah, like 3 out of 5 unlimited. 0 out of 5 standard just costs a lot to kill something. Like, no. You know what comes down before turn 5? Goldspan Dragon. I rest my case. Lambolt? Lamholt. Are you shooting lambs? I'm literally looking at this picture to see if there's any sort of wool involved in this fiery thing. Okay. Lamholt Raconteur. Thanks. That was easy. For a 4 mana 2/4, human werewolf. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, deals 1 damage to each opponent. Which, if I'm not mistaken, literally the same effect. But you're paying more for a bigger thing that can flip over into the same. It's a 4/4, but it deals 2 damage on the same trigger. Fine. Probably gonna have a 4/4 that does that, and that's not, you know, it adds up certainly. So in limited, yeah, 2.5 out of 5. Standard, no. No, this is not as aggressive as you would like it to be. But in limited, yeah, it's good. This is a lot to pay for a gutter snipe, and guess what? That means you want to play non-creature spells, but if you cast 2 or more, then it's gonna go back to the weaker side. So, yeah. I guess you want to do instant speed and do them all on your opponent's turn. Interesting deck, instant speed things plus this. Maybe not. Lightning Wolf. Oh, look at you, another lovely fluffy boy. So for 4 mana, you get a 4/3 Wolf. You can pay 2, and it gets first strike until end of turn. Only activate as a sorcery. Worth noting. I say worth noting a lot, but you know what? Take notes. No. Interesting timing there. So I guess, like, they see it coming. I don't know how they see the lightning coming ahead of time. It's more so, like, you see the lightning first, then the thunder. It could be Thunderwolf. Doesn't make as much sense, but to me it does. It's okay, though. In limited, yeah, this is perfectly fine. Like, 3 out of 5, honestly. Like, a 4/3 first strike. Even if your opponent knows it's coming, even if they can foretell the lightning. 4 is a lot of power to have behind a first striker. Yeah, that's good. Standard, no. But in limited, this can certainly turn the tide of a battle. Magma Pummeler. Costs X and 2 red. For a 0/0, enters the battlefield with X plus 1/1 counters on it. Almost like a Magma Hydra kind of thing. If damage would be dealt to Magma Pummeler while this has a counter on it, prevent that damage and remove that many plus 1/1 counters from it. When 1 or more counters are removed from Magma Pummeler this way, it deals that much damage to any target. So, geez, interesting thing. Obviously, not obviously, let's see. Early game, it's not worth much, because you really don't want to play a 3 mana 1/1. It dies and you deal 1 damage. That's pretty bad. What you don't really mind playing is like a 6 mana 4/4, and then when it takes some hits there, you start to ping things and you can trade interestingly. Even then, though, I don't really love this card, which is why it's an uncommon, not a rare. If it was... I think if it just cost X, or if it cost X and a single red, it'd probably be rare and it'd probably be pretty damn good. But here it's just okay. I'm going to say this is the most interesting bear I've ever seen, and rate it 2 out of 5. And in Standard, it's not going to see play there at all. But again, like, yeah, very, very hot bear. Yeah, the bear is on fire, but it's, for me, it's a bear. Mana Form Hellkite. Okay, going from that to this mythic. 4 mana 4/4 flying dragon. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create an XX dragon illusion creature token with flying and haste, where X is the amount of mana spent to cast that spell. And then you exile at the beginning of the next end step. So it lasts for the turn. People are going to say, well, you play this, and then you play Alrund's Epiphany in the future turn, and you get a 7/7 hasty dragon with your 4/4. And that's insane. You take another turn, and you can play another Alrund's Epiphany. That's more so an issue with Alrund's Epiphany. I mean, this card's also fantastic. Sorry. That's more so an issue with this card. Wow. I mean, I'm not on the Epiphany hate train, but it's a combo. It's a combo. The issue is that we have these other cards that also do a hell of a good job. So, this card's amazing. Just straight up, this card's amazing. 4 mana 4/4 that can start spinning out some huge things. You don't even have to have all that much like stuff going on. The downside to this is if you use like instant speed things. If you back this up with removal and you kill things in your opponent's turn, the tokens die. They can block, but they can't attack because it's a little too late for them. Fantastic card. Immediate, obvious, great first pick thing. 4.5 out of 5 in limited. Easy. And probably going to be a 3.5 to 4 out of 5 in standard. This is going to see some play, no doubt in my mind. Markov Retribution. Ooh, that's... very kind of flowy. Alright. Interesting. For 3 mana, you get sorcery, choose one or both. Creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. Okay. Target vampire you control deals damage equal to his power to another target creature. I will remind everyone that these effects resolve in order. So yes, your creature will get buffed first, and then you can deal the damage. It's probably how you want to do it. If that is at all a detriment to you, then it's unfortunate, and that is even more important to know. Why is it like... What's that white back there? What the... Okay, well, it's kind of strange. I'm not sure why... Oh, it's the sun. That's glare. Okay. Standard, we don't really need this kind of effect. There are better things to do in green, like Blizzard Brawl. In limited, if you're running vampires, I would do it. If you're not running a significant number of vampires, this card is absolutely terrible for what it does. So, in a deck where you have 40, and there's around 17-ish lands, so 23 non-lands, on average, I'd say. So... I would want to have at least, at minimum, 10 vampires to have that go off. If not, I wouldn't bother. So for that kind of thing, it's like a 1.5 out of 5 in limited. And standard 0. Olivia's Attendance. There we go. They're not her bridesmaids. They're her attendants. Okay. Which I think might be like the same kind of thing, but no. Attendance sounds a lot more threatening. So for 6 mana, you get a 6/6 with Menace, which implies that each one of them is a 2/2. Maybe. Whenever they deal damage, create that many blood tokens. That's the one. Yep, I know. Okay, that's what I was saying. And for 3 mana, it deals 1 damage to any target. This card, 6 mana, 6/6 Menace. A 6/6 with Menace is a hell of a thing to get over. It is a huge hurdle to deal with in limited. It is absolutely something that you can play and your opponent has to answer or they will lose the game. Like, that's not even have to answer very quickly or they will quickly lose the game. I will say I'm going to give this the 5 out of 5 limited treatment as well. Yeah, I know it's not mythic. It doesn't have to be mythic. This card's amazing. And you can also just pay 3 mana to ping things if you want to, whatever the hell you want. You can use it to take your, like, if your opponent's probably going to block with reasonable sized thing and little thing, you have 6 mana, you can ping 2 things. Or ping 1 thing twice and kill it, and make their blocks that much more annoying. Like, super solid card. In Standard, will this see play in the deck that wants blood tokens to do things? Because this is not a mono-red aggro top-end card at all. Your top-end in mono-red aggro is going to be around 4, maybe 5. 6 is way too much. If you're paying 6 mana for a spell, you are into some weird late game. Maybe you side it into a mid-range deck. But you're not an aggro deck. So... let's see then. In mid-range / like blood token deck, this card's okay. This card's okay. This is more so like a 2.5 out of 5 in standard. But in limited, absolute house. Absolute monster of a card. Pyre Spawn. 6 mana, 6/4 elemental. When it dies, deal 3 damage to any target. Hey, that's cool. Not a huge monster of a card, but definitely, definitely is going to do something. Take something down with it, or at least, you know, bolt your opponent on the way out. So, yeah. Definitely, like, not upset to play this. 3.5 out of 5? Yeah. Yeah. Reasonable top end. Unlimited. Standard, no. Reckless Impulse. This is an interesting card. This is Light Up the Stage, but for 2 mana and 2 cards. So, 2 mana, exile the top 2 cards of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play those cards. Exactly what I said. You even have little, like, devilish, impish little guys there. And, yeah. The real question is, it makes you think, like, well, is this effect worth 2 mana? And in limited, I think it certainly is. I definitely believe so. Oh, geez, that was not a good angle to turn on. In standard, though, maybe a fringe thing. Maybe you play 1 or 2 of them. I do not think that 4 of these are playable. I think, really, for Light Up the Stage, where it could cost 1 sometimes and 3 sometimes, that was an amazing card. This always costing 2 and only showing you 2 cards makes it very meh. It's right middle of the line. So in limited, 3 out of 5. In standard, I'll say 2 out of 5. I might see a few copies, and I won't be upset if I do. Rending Flame. 3 mana instant. Deal 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If the permanent is a spirit, also deal 2 damage to that permanent's controller. There are plenty of spirits in this set, so you will most likely run into these, even in the limited format. And you know what? 3 mana, deal 5 to a creature or planeswalker is very, very valid, is solid red removal. Absolutely 4 out of 5 and limited. Would not often pass this up if you're in red. And the fact that it only costs 2 colorless and a red is great. Doesn't cost double red is super nice there. In standard, you could play this as a sideboard card if you're running red aggro against some deck that's running spirits. It does not exile, so there are plenty of spirits that have, like, the other side, disturb, and then... Are they spirits? I think they are, yeah. And then they come back as enchantments. There's a few of them. And it doesn't stop that from happening, but still a good card. So I could see this as a sideboard card against spirits for sure. Runebound Wolf. 2 mana, 2/2. You can pay 4 and tap it. Deals damage equal to the number of wolves and werewolves you control to target opponent. Okay. 2 mana, 2/2 with upside. It's fine. 2.5 out of 5 limited. And standard, no, not at all. But it's a cool card. I like the idea. Sanguine Statuette is a 2 mana artifact. When this enters the battlefield, you make a blood token. And, oh, sorry, I did this, but I did that accidentally, so I went with that. Whenever you sacrifice a blood token, you may have it become a 3/3 vampire artifact creature token with haste until end of turn. No, just artifact creature, not token, whatever. So, okay. It gives you the blood token. You can activate it right away if you have an extra mana floating around. Just make it a 3/3 with haste. Cool, not bad. I don't hate it at all. And even if you just get the 2 mana, sack the blood token, attack with this thing, activate it 1 time, and you discard and draw. I feel like that's probably worth it. So, yeah, 2.5 out of 5, even up to 3 out of 5 with other blood tokens matter cards in limited. In standard, you could try to run multiples of this and animate it multiple times and get it to work. I don't know if that's where you really want to be, though. So I'll say 2 out of 5 standard. Could be okay, though. Tenstensia Uprising. Interesting. I'm going to try to fix this in the next video, by the way. My apologies there. So for 4 mana, you get an enchantment where at the beginning of your end step, create a 1/1 red human creature token. Then if you control exactly 13 permanents, oh god, you may sacrifice this card. When you do, it deals 7 damage to any target. So lucky number 13 and lucky number 7. Hooray. At least it says permanents, but like you play this for 4 mana. So you have 4 lands, plus this is 5, plus maybe 2 or 3 creatures is going to be 7 or 8. You're only halfway there. Oh, but you spit out tokens every turn at the end of the turn, but they're 1/1s, and if you're blocking at them, if you're using them in any way, then you're not... Really? Really? Listen. I don't like this card. 1 out of 5 and standard, because 7's a decent amount. Let's see. Then, and you have to wait till your end step to actually trigger it. It's part of the make a creature token trigger. And you have to have exactly 13. Oh, god damn. 0 out of 5 limited. 0 out of 5 standard. 1 out of 5 limited. There we go. No, ugh, god. If it was 13 or more, I could see it. I could see it happening, okay. But again, they love this exactly 13 thing, and it's just, ugh. Sure Strike. Hey, buddy, look at you. Look at those jowls. Alright. 2 mana instant, target creature gets +3/+0 against first strike on the turn. I think this is a reprint, pretty sure. If not, we've seen very, very similar effects before. It's okay. It's fine, limited. Standard's not worth it, but in limited, yeah, play one of these and, you know, go nuts. That's about it. 1.5 out of 5. Vampire's Vengeance. 3 mana instant. Deals 2 damage to each non-vampire creature. Create a blood token. Okay. It's alright there. Not quite Pyroclasm, but it's alright. You can play this. I would play this in Standard and a Vampires only deck, of course. In Limited, if you have, again, around that, maybe not 10 Vampires, but maybe like around 7 or 8 at least. And you wouldn't really feel too bad doing this. And yeah, that's alright. If you do that, then it's probably around a 3 out of 5. Again, your opponent might have Vampires. It doesn't give, like, there's not much of a downside if your opponent doesn't get hit by it, but the 3 mana blood token feels like crap. And in Limited and Standard, this could be a sideboard card. If you're running Vampires against, like, aggro, I could absolutely see this. The question is, are Vampires going to be the aggro deck, in which case then it's kind of useless. Yeah. But 2 out of 5 in Standard, and 2.5 in Limited, because dealing 2 damage to a lot of things is pretty good. Volatile Arsonist. Ooh, that artwork is clean! Alright. I think it just might be the borderless thing, but anyway. So, for 5 mana, you get a 4/4 haste and menace thing. And whenever it attacks, it deals 1 damage to each of up to 1 target creature, up to 1 target player, and or up to 1 target planeswalker. So, not bad. Can deal, you know, ping, ping, ping. Okay. And still 5 mana 4/4 menace haste alone is worth a hell of a lot. It transforms into Dire Strain Arcanist, which is a 5/5. Again, menace haste. And it deals 2 damage to those targets instead of 1. Yeah, this card's fantastic. The card's amazing for a very... Oh, almost. Nope, not quite there. This is easily another bomb card in Limited, not even close. Yeah, 5 out of 5 Limited, totally. And this could definitely see play in Standard. No question about it. In the already existing Werewolves deck, yeah. 4 out of 5 in Standard, 5 out of 5 Limited. No problem there. Voldaren Epicure, which I believe is referring to the beverage. So whoever that person is, put the drink down and just let us take a picture of that. You are ruining the still life, my friend. So, 1 mana 1/1. Enters the battlefield, deals 1 damage to each opponent, and you make a blood token. Cool. Just cool. It's not bad. Yeah. Blood token. Wow, her face is just going away. There are no teeth. It's almost like she's wearing a muzzle. Sorry. She's wearing a face mask. Oh my goodness. It is relevant to this year. Okay. I gotta finish this video soon before the effect gets worse. It's creeping in, I tell you. I just gotta cover the window for the next video. So, this thing. Limited. Only if you have blood token like synergy, because otherwise a 1 mana 1/1 is like, okay, but not great, or exploit things, then it can be like a 2.5 out of 5. Otherwise, I bring it down to 1.5. A whole point is going down, because this is largely irrelevant otherwise. In Standard, you can put this in aggro and do something. Blood token's cool, you can just throw it in there, and I will give it a 2.5. Voltaic Visionary, is that the last one? Sorry. I think Weird Prisoner is the last one, though. Yes, okay, 2 more cards. We got this. 2 mana, 3/1, Human Wizard. That can flip over. And let's see. You can tap this card, deal 2 damage to yourself. Exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. Activate only as a sorcery. Huh. Okay, so yeah, you gotta do it on your turn. And you can play it. When you play the exiled card, which could be a land, cool, then you transform the Visionary into Volt Charged Berserker. A 4/3 that cannot block. As opposed to a 3/1 that could block, but probably didn't want to. I mean, a 2 mana 4/3 tap it. When you transform it, it stays tapped. So you can't do much with it that turn, but and you do not want to activate that effect multiple times. I mean, deal 2, draw a card. It kind of hurts. Like, that's a really, really, really bad sign in Blood. Like, yeah, oof. So you want to do that immediately. You want to play the card as soon as you can. So yeah, in limited, this is actually pretty fine. Odds are you're going to be able to play whatever. Hopefully you might not want to do the ability immediately, but again, you're probably going to have more lands than anything else, right? Decent number of lands. So yeah, you're probably going to be okay with this. 2.5 out of 5. If your curve is low enough, 3 out of 5, where you can nearly always make this work. Like if you max out on 4 and you just wait a couple turns, then do it, and you know you're going to be able to play whatever, good stuff. In standard, this is not this is not bad. Like, this isn't Delver, but it's a 2-drop. Next turn you do it, then the turn after that you can attack. It's not bad, though. And you play the card, too. You get, like, little card advantage. You just can't play counter spells, otherwise it's not going to work. Yeah. Standard, like, 2 out of 5. Limited, like, 3 out of 5. Weary Prisoner, the final card, is a 4-mana 2/6 Defender. Okay. How the hell does this person that's all chained up have 6 toughness? I guess they've been through a lot. Sure, and I guess they can kick as well. Maybe the feet aren't restrained. Okay. And it transforms into this beast. Oh my god. It just has the bars. Wrathful Jailbreaker attacks each combat if able. Goes from a 2/6 to a 6/6, and you wish you didn't. Oh god. Yeah, this card's solid. You can't. It's gonna make your opponent try to play 2 things. Like, please, I want to play 2 spells and get this thing to the 2/6 again. Yeah, super solid card there. For 4 mana, 3.5, even a 4 out of 5. In limited standard, no, it's not quite there. This whole turn you got to take off to make it work. Ugh, but damn, 6/6 is a beast. And with that, we are done. Thank you so much for enduring yet another one of these as I slowly phase out of existence. Yes, I'm over here, and that's a big old glare thing, and yeah, sorry about that. I'm going to fix that in the next video when I review the green cards, which will be the final solid color, and then multicolored things will come shortly after. Until then, good night or good morning, depending on where you are in the world, but as always, good luck.